Okidoki. If you're one of those people that went online to say the critics are wrong and that Black Adam is an amazing movie, what back alley oregano are you smoking, and can I have some? Which is a mean thing to say. Everyone has their own thresholds to what they consider to be a good or bad movie. I have to assume that people that actually enjoyed Black Adam are more casual fans anyway. They just wanted to have a good time, and I respect that. But this is a movie about how Black Adam is hot garbage. So, yeah. If you don't know, Black Adam is the newest DC movie to hit the cinemas, starring good old Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's technically a villain in the comics, commonly seen as the main antagonist for Shazam or Captain Marvel for all the older fans out there. And the movie is basically about him liberating his home country Kahndaq. He's basically an anti-hero, like Deadpool, but funnier in all the wrong ways. You've probably seen the advertising where it's like, this superhero movie is different, Black Adam kills people, which is actually one of the only aspects I enjoyed from this movie. It's just efficient. It's honestly a bit refreshing to see him demolish foot soldiers left and right. The first scene where he appears in, where he just grabs one of the enemies and then uses his lightning to liquefy them, that was really fun to watch. I enjoyed when the movie would just shut up and give us the action we asked for. It is kind of funny how this was the main selling point, but most villains these days die after their first movie anyway. And to go into it a bit more, I don't hate it when heroes have their moral code. Batman is the perfect example. He won't use guns and he will never end a person's life, no matter how beneficial it would be to Gotham. For Batman, it does feel different because it's less of a moral code and more about self-control. Because we all know Batman is obsessive and unhinged, never getting over his parents' death. If he broke his one rule, he would just go off the rails and just start eliminating everyone. The no-kill rule is probably one of the only things that keep him somewhat sane. But back to Black Adam, I mentioned the movie was good when it just shut up, because the writing for this, it just makes me want to shove my head in a mechanical shredder. There's so much to talk about. Firstly, all the characters have been done so dirty. I haven't seen that many movies with Dwayne in them, but I don't remember him being a horrible actor. He's not amazing, but he's a WWE star. They know how to put on a good performance. A lot of the characters have really stilted line delivery. Waller is another example. I've seen Viola Davis in Suicide Squad. She does so much to bring Amanda Waller from the comics to live action. She's an amazing actor. But we see her small segment in Black Adam, and it's just awful. Like, you can tell this isn't an actual person talking. This is corny exposition to introduce the Justice Society. The Kid is another example. I refuse to look at that character's name. I don't know how good the actor actually is, but the way he is written is just so bad. He's a superhero nerd added in for more exposition and to be sort of a self-insert for little kids, which is weird because this movie is rated M for mediocre. Every time I see him on screen, I'm hoping he gets shot or pierced by collateral shrapnel, which unfortunately doesn't happen, because the enemies for some reason refuse to use their guns on anyone that isn't bulletproof. The Justice Society is probably the most egregious because the only reason they're in this movie is to again explain magic gobbledygook via Dr. Fate, or just be another thing for Black Adam to punch. They made Hawkman to be such an unlikable douchebag for the sole purpose to force this dumb rivalry between him and Dwayne, even though we all know he will be bodied so hard. There's this scene where they're trying to negotiate them working together so they can stop the bad guys. And the first thing Hawkman says is, "We're here to discuss the terms of your imprisonment, you pile of shit." Which is me paraphrasing, but really not that far off. Like, I get it, you don't like murderers, but you're written to be so dumb and antagonistic just so you can get more action scenes. Dr. Fate as well, he's really only there to move the story forward with his magic knowledge and his predictions. Dr. Fate is supposed to be possessed by his helmet, or Naboo, the ancient wizard who is the source of its power, and the movie explains this as well, but the amount of times he takes off his helmet to look cool and say something emotionally dissonant is just headache-inducing. Like, we get it! It's Pierce Brosnan! He's the hottest old white guy in cinema! You don't need to remind us every single time! Naboo is non-existent in this movie because it really shows in the power level as well. He's a master of magic, but he can't heal a bullet wound, only really firing off magic crystals that don't really do much or multiplying himself. And then we get to Cyclone and Atom Smasher, who really don't add anything except for goofball humor and this really bad side romance that nobody cares about. There's actually not much to say about them. You could take them out of this movie and it wouldn't make much of a difference. The pacing is weird as well, with the movie trying to stumble its way into their next action scene. A good example is somewhere around the halfway point, where everything seems resolved, but we all know it isn't, and there's no point to this scene except for an average escape scene. It's like they ended the movie halfway through and then restarted. It's just so jarring to watch it unfold. There's this one scene as well, which gives us some important backstory to Black Adam to explain why the hero of Kahndaq was sealed away and treated like a villain, which was honestly an interesting twist. I thought it added a good layer to his character until we reached that one scene. To not spoil it too much, basically we see the reason why Black Adam lost control of his rage all those years ago. You can see it coming from a mile away, and you're hoping they won't ruin this legitimately good moment, but you know there's no way to stop the train from crashing into 10 gas tankers. The awful arrow scene. I literally broke down laughing at how bad that scene was. Anyone that's seen this movie knows what I'm talking about. My friends and I were crying with laughter. I want you to take it so seriously, but it's the most unintentionally hilarious moment out of the entire movie. I just... Honestly, while Black Adam makes me want to give up on superhero movies, it's one of those so bad it's good entries that if you want to watch this with a bunch of friends, you're going to have a good time. I think this can be salvaged if you give us better writers for when Black Adam eventually fights the Justice League. Dwayne will probably do a good job. This movie, however, is just not great. It's not good, it's awful. It's a mess of over-explaining and dumb characters trying to move an awful plot forward. And I'm going to go watch a better movie after I'm done with the script so I can get this bad taste out of my mouth. If you did enjoy it, feel free to let me know how wrong I am. I'm honestly interested to see what the other side says. If you guys want to see Black Adam melt my flesh and blacken my bones to ash, let me know in the comments below and tell me your thoughts while you're down there. Like and subscribe for more content, let me know if there's something you'd like me to cover. I like talking about anything that interests me. That's all I wanted to say. I hope you all have a good day.